Diego, we just got a little bit of a tease of Andor Season 2 on the Star Wars Celebration stage. It looks awesome, dude. What you guys did with Season 1, once that ball got rolling, it never stopped, and I thought it was just some of the most brilliant Star Wars content you guys has made. Looking at Season 1 and the work you're doing on Season 2, how do the two seasons compare for you? What do you think? How do you think it's going to compare for the audiences? Are there big differences? Is it the same kind of tone and energy?
In terms of the tone, yes. We have to commit to the tone. But I would say that it's riskier. We learn a lot of things about the format. Coming once a week. For example, that was something new for us. We didn't speak that language before. Now we understand. Now we live that whole journey. I was very scared, of people not having the opportunity to watch from beginning to end. And now I get it. It's really cool. It gives time for things to grow, for people to digest, to see the different layers, to comment on it, and then be ready for the next one to come. In terms of the structure, what Tony has designed is very, very different now. Now we're going to go through 4 years. The first season was just 1 year. Now it's 4 blocks, and each block is a year, so there's a time jump between each block. And a lot of things are happening that you won't see, and that's a challenge. And now you care about these characters, so we have to go deeper. We have to go deeper with all of them. It's going to be intense.
I'm really excited to see it. And so, I know this was always going to be a 2-season show, which I assume means you knew the beginning and the end, at least, and at least most of what was coming in between. Based on the incredible reaction to Season 1, did you guys look at anything and say, okay, based on what they loved about this, we want to do that, or do less of this, or do more of that? Was there anything you changed based on reactions?
No, not really. I mean, to be honest, I think the map of the whole story was there before the series came out, But it definitely confirms a few things, and raises some alarms, like, oh, be careful with that, be careful with that. But no, I have to say that we've been very respectful to Tony's vision and perspective, and we're committing to that, And I think that's what gives the series so much integrity, and people can talk about it as something different, special, unique, because it responds to that. There's an author behind,
Andy, you're back at Star Wars Celebration. Andor Season 1 has come and gone. It's got me wondering, Andor Season 2?
Well, Kino Loy, as we know, is still alive. He's on Narkina 5, sitting in his cell planning his next move.
Man, I hope he's out there, and I hope he comes back someday. I want to hear about the sets in that prison. Did they really electrocute you by the feet? What was it like to exist in that space, though? I mean, because it looked visually incredible. It just really immersed us as an audience, as an actor on those sets on the Narkina 5. What was it like in those spaces?
It was an amazing set because, the very fact that you were walking on metal plates for weeks and weeks and weeks in bare feet with those paper suits, which were so desensitizing, it almost takes away your identity, and it really did make you feel that, and then constantly being in line on program, it did make you feel there was nowhere to hide, and it's really bizarre to be in a white environment and to find that energy sapping, and then the machinery, all the machinery functioned and was built, and so that everyone had to know exactly how to do their part in constructing the pieces. It was a really tough set to work on, but I think, and also because it was during COVID, so there was no escape, and so there was a real sense of it being, it was really hard. It was hard on the head.
Well, I'm glad you guys got through it because it was an incredible watch. When did it start to set into you? I mean, the panel ended with people chanting the line that your character says. When did it start to set into you that the reactions were so positive, that people were falling in love with Kino Loy and this story that we were seeing in Andor?
I went to a Comic-Con in Tokyo like a few months ago, and there were people all dressed in the prison outfits, and
when you were just in a jail.
And I was doing photo ops with people, and everyone wanted to go on program for the photo co-ops, and it was just like, wow, this is interesting. And this was quite early on after it had come out. And then it's just sort of lit up the whole, people chant one way out, or I'm in the street and people are shouting one way out, it's just like, it's incredible.
Genevieve, thank you so much for stopping to talk with us at Star Wars Celebration. Coming off of Andor Season 1, not only does it seem you're back in Andor Season 2, I swear I saw you in footage for another series out there today.
I think I saw that too. Just a moment, just a fleeting glimpse.
So talk to me about joining another project in the Star Wars universe.
Well, I feel terribly grateful and fortunate that the filmmakers are interested in this woman having a voice across different kind of narratives. The joy for me to be able to work with different filmmakers, like not only Tony Gilroy, but also Dave Filoni, who's at the center of all the Star Wars. It feels really special to be able to investigate this woman and this character in different spheres.
So I would say Mon Mothma, as you talk about investigating her, she's a character, I would say, who had the most to lose, or among the most to lose, but really was risking it all in that first season of Andor for something she believed in. As you peel back the layers and you get to know this character, going into season 2, how much is she still willing to risk it all? Where's she at? What is the best part of peeling back those layers going forward?
Well, I think you're right. I think that's what Andor is really reaching for, and it's doing really well. It's to look at what is the sacrifice, that the idea that to be an effective rebellion, it will cost. I think it's Stellan's character, Luthen, who has that speech in episode 8, I think, where he talks about sacrifice and what sacrifice is. And Tony sets that up really quite extraordinary well in Andor Season 1 across everybody. You see that all of them, that this is going to involve sacrifice at many different levels. And we learn that for Mon Mothma, that's not just a workplace sacrifice, but also a personal sacrifice. And so that's kind of what we lean into in Season 2. It gets pretty dark and gritty and passionate and emotional. I feel like it's going to be a real reward.
I can't wait to see. What was it like for you to see season 1 and all the positive reactions and like the scenes that you weren't a part of, and the whole the way it turned out, and seeing how all the storylines weave together?
I loved how it was created. I loved the tone of the piece. I loved how gritty it was, how connected it was, how human it was. I loved that it was almost within a sci-fi genre, that it was kind of holding the mirror up to all of us and asking us about what are our ideals, what are we passionate about, what is really complicated. And I'm really proud to be a tiny part of something that's asking really tough questions.
You're back at Star Wars Celebration to talk about Andor Season 2 this time. How was it to go back to work with, or to be at work with the reception being as positive as? Does it give you a whole new energy? Is it all sorts of encouraging? What's it like to have the mindset of what people think of Andor now that you're working on it again?
There was relief, and then there was like, oh shit, we have to do it better.
Is that even possible?
No, I know, but it was this like, and that's what it felt like being here today. It was a bit of nerves, and I was like, well, what is that, man? I'm like, well, what's going on? And I think it was because it was so well received, and I know that so many people come up to me and are like, Andor is my favorite Star Wars show, like even out of the films, like people are all about it. But coming here, you get a little bit of like homecoming syndrome or something to high school. You're like, am I still cool? Like, am I still relevant? Or like, and they're just so warm and loving and appreciative of it, man. So like coming back to season 2, it was like, damn, we got to go for it hard. And then I read the scripts, and I was like, oh wow. All
right, so tell me about those scripts. I know you can't give me too many details. We want to leave somewhat to surprise. But when we see Cyril again, where is he? What's on the mind? What's the number one goal?
Andor, man.
Still wants him.
Andor. He's the dog with a bone. He's not going to let that go. And it's interesting because like you leave him in this little broom cupboard in the middle of a riot with Dedra, and there's this really intense meeting. And you're kind of like, what's going to happen there with them? Can they work together? Is there something more we don't know? that gets answered, but also Cyril actually Cyril mans up, and I won't say mans up, but he grows up. Actually, I think in season 2, he finds out who he is through a series of incredibly stressful events.
If it isn't Star Wars, I'll tell you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much for the time. Congratulations on season 1. I can't wait to see what you guys are cooking up.
Thanks, dude.
Hello, good to see you again. Welcome back to Star Wars Celebration.
Thank you so much.
So I know with Andor season 2, it's difficult to talk about a little bit. So
It's been so hard because all I want to do is share because there's so excitement in this conference room. All I want to do is spill it all.
So I won't ask anything too spoilery, but how does season 2 end?
Okay, so where's Tony?
How does it start? Where do we find Bix when we pick up? What's the journey about to be? And what were your thoughts when you found out where it's going, in particularly in season 2?
I was like, where does Biggs go from where we leave her off? She really is so low. I mean, the poor woman can't speak and talk. She can't compute a thought. I mean, she's really, really going through it. So I think there's a lot of reconstruction that will happen in her, and a lot of dealing with the trauma, and how does that affect her? How does she deal with that? Who does that make her become? Does that make her really, really strong? Does that make her sort of incredibly introverted and kind of lays a little bit low and loses that fight in her? I don't know. You're gonna have to.
Yes, you do. But we'll see. Oh, Mike's all the way over there. Oh, I can't wait to see it. Okay, but I'm rooting for Bix. I'm rooting.
React to the secret I told them.
I couldn't sell anything if they would have. The theories would have begun. But we're rooting for Bix. We're rooting for you. The fans are rooting for this show. Everybody has gone behind Andor. It's been crazy to see the support this show has gotten, and it deserves it. What's it been like to go back to work, knowing how well it has been received?
I think it was a little nerve-wracking, I'm not going to lie. Really? I think it was. I think when you do something, I think first season we were all really excited and we really wanted to create something special, but we also didn't really know, it's so different for Star Wars, and the way that Tony writes, we're like, oh, really? Is this allowed? Are we going to do that? It was, we were all like a little excited and nervous about it. And now this second time around, you're like, oh man, you can kind of feel the pressure's on, but I trust no one more than I trust Tony Gilroy. I mean, and he's written an incredible season. So I'm no longer fearful. And I was nervous at the beginning. We're halfway through. I'm feeling pretty confident.
I can't wait to see it. Well, thank you and congratulations. Always good to talk to you.
You too.
And I imagine you're going back to work from here because you guys are hard at work on season 2. Yeah. I love to hear about working on season 2 with the reaction being as positive as it is and people loving the show so much. How does that re-energize you? How does that remotivate you? What are you doing differently in season 2?
Well, the great thing is we're not doing anything differently. We just have a really great feeling of what's that word? You see, I've lost my words, but goodwill. Yes. Oh God, I was like, well, good.
I was going to say well wishes. We're getting there.
Oh God, between us, we'll figure it out. There's such goodwill behind the show now, so it just feels really like toasty. You feel like, oh, they are proud of us, and we feel, because we were proud of the work before you saw it. We hoped that it would go down the way that it did, but you can never just expect that. You have to work for that, and now I can't wait to give season 2 to you guys. It's going to be, because I think it's amazing. So, yeah.
A little bit we saw looked really good, and it sounds like a lot of pressure when you first go into it. And also, speaking of pressure, Deidre's a character that's very much under pressure. Dedra, yes.
Like dead person.
If I ever said that to her,
she would kill you.
She would.
And she's in here.
Here's the thing. I think Dedra might have a face turn here. Dedra might come out of this a hero. And I know either way, Dedra's going to see herself as the hero.
I'm going to tell you.
What do you, if you were writing, what would you like to see Dedra's journey be like? They all think they're their own hero.
Exactly. They're all the hero of their own story. That's what makes them all so brilliant. So every single one of us thinks, this is my show. And Diego's like, yeah, whatever. It's me. I'm in the title.